Finnish people are very reserved. Our mentality is quite quiet and we like to keep to ourselves, but when we go on vacation, that's when we let loose. We Finns travel a lot, but it's mainly for just two reasons. One is to go on a 2-hour cruise ship to Tallinn in search of cheaper alcohol, and the second is to escape our cold and dark winters and to go somewhere warm and sunny. Maybe that's the reason for Finland being the happiest country in the world 8 years straight. We get out of here. This became popular when the law changed to increase our yearly holidays to 4 weeks. That, coupled together with the sudden rise of travel agencies making easy and affordable packaged group trips to all kinds of places. And by the 70s, Finnish people were traveling a lot. But we were not exactly well behaved. Finnish tourists were real pests, being known for loud and drunken behavior in all of our favorite travel destinations. Quite the opposite of the usual stereotypical quiet Finnish person. Well, maybe besides the drunken part. And from this starting point came the Finnish comedy classic Loma. The word literally translates to holiday, and the international name of the film is Olympian Holiday. It was released in 1976 and was directed by one of the biggest names of the Finnish cinematic new wave, Risto Jarva. He had begun his career making more dramatic films, but in the 70s he found great success by making comedy films, and the biggest of these was Loma. Somewhat forgotten, at least by the younger generations like mine, it's still one of the most watched Finnish movies of all time. Ranking still at number 11th most watched by 2025, safe to say it was a pretty big hit. Loma tells the story of Niemi, a banker by profession but a poet at heart. After getting divorced from his wife, he decides to go on a holiday to Austria to go and watch the Winter Olympic Games. He has paid for everything in advance, even his meals, and only takes a little bit of cash with him for snacks. But due to a mix-up at the airport, Aimo ends up taking another woman's trip by accident, so instead of the cold winter weather of Austria, he ends up taking a group trip to the sunny Greek island of Rhodes instead. He gets the woman's suitcase and is forced to share a room with another Finnish woman at the hotel. So now he has to stay a week at Rhodes with no money, only the winter clothes he arrived in and a pair of skis, which are not very practical on the beach. In true Finnish fashion, Aimo doesn't tell anybody about this situation. Instead decides to just quietly accept his fate and try to act as if everything is fine and going as planned. Throughout the week, Aimo ends up in endlessly embarrassing situations as he has no change of clothes and no money for food, only getting to eat the hotel breakfast in the morning. And even then, being just about the most helpless person ever to try and crack open an egg. The only thing in Rhodes that interests Aimo is a beautiful, mysterious woman he sees everywhere. He has various daydreams and hallucinations about her, causing even more embarrassing situations. Loma has a lot of satirical elements, making fun of the way Finnish people go on holidays. Aimo kind of has his own problems, but this element really comes into the forefront with the other Finnish characters traveling along with him. All of the characters in Loma are escaping something. Aimo is escaping his divorce, but the others are more or less escaping themselves. The vacation offers them the chance to be something else than they are in the cold and mundane Finland. Throughout the movie, we see flashbacks revealing the true selves of the characters. One traveler who claims to be an important businessman is actually just a gatekeeper, and the real businessman claims to just be a common worker. Whether it's dissatisfaction with their jobs or marital problems, a vacation represents something better for the Finnish people. No one knows who you are, so you can be whoever you want to be. Though by the end of the week-long trip, everyone's secrets are revealed and the truth comes out. Once Aimo has arrived at the hotel, he tries desperately to get rid of the skis he brought with him, trying to hide them in the supply closet, putting them in other people's balconies, or just throwing them out. He's ashamed of his mistake of coming to Rhodes, and the skis are the biggest representation of that. If someone sees him with the skis, the jig is up. In a broader sense, the skis are the life all our characters have left behind in Finland. They represent the snowy and dark home that everyone is trying so hard to escape. But just like the skis always end up coming back to Aimo one way or another, no matter how much you try to hide from reality, it will always catch up with you, sooner or later. The movie is quite repetitive, showing a lot of the same situations over and over again, thus making even the vacation become mundane in its freedom. You're on vacation, you can do anything, but you just kinda get stuck in a routine just like back home. And almost every day all the tourists go to the same Finnish Greek restaurant, operated by a Greek guy speaking broken Finnish and offering mostly just Finnish food. They're in Greece and they're trying to decide between pea soup, something traditionally Finnish people eat on Thursdays, or the everyday potato with herring. Of course, when they go to a more authentic restaurant, they order the most exotic dish of them all, a Greek salad. And then there's the couple who are afraid to even try the local food in the first place, fearing that it might upset their stomach. So they just brought a suitcase full of Finnish food and just eat rye bread in their hotel room. The lack of trying to even engage with Greek culture can also be seen by the fact that our characters don't really interact with any Greek people unless absolutely necessary. Basically, the only time we see any characters having a conversation with non-Finnish people, it's when Aimo and another Finnish man are trying to pick up two women who are just tourists from Germany. The point of traveling seems to just be the traveling itself, not the chance to experience a world outside of our own. Just to say that you went there and had a good time. And that's very evident by the postcards everybody sends back home. Even Aimo in his postcard to his co-workers claims to have arrived in Austria and to be having a good time there watching the Winter Olympics. When the movie was first in development, they planned to shoot it in Finland's favorite vacation spot, Spain, but because of the then current dictatorship of Francisco Franco, the location was changed to Greece instead, also a very popular spot for Finnish tourists. Somewhat because of Franco, Spain had become a sort of heaven for Finnish travelers who wanted to go and live it up decadently. There were even these so-called pig parties, where the wine was being poured by the bucket and flamenco dancers were just dancing on top of the tables. Due to the location change, the satire of Finnish vacation behavior was softened for the movie, but it was definitely still there. In Loma, the Finnish tourists are constantly drinking and just trying to get laid. One of them even has a flask shaped like binoculars. And at one point, in a desperate attempt to get some food, Aimo ends up dressing up as a woman to go on a double date with his roommate. He ends the night blackout drunk and apparently even punching a police officer, though that all happens off screen. Aimo's constant fantasies about the mystery woman are also quite telling of the Finnish travel mentality. He saw her already at the airport and is just trying to follow her wherever he sees her. Due to her having a tan and never actually hearing her speak, she seems like this beautiful exotic woman, but he doesn't know that she's actually just from Savo, a Finnish city just a few hours away from Helsinki. So just like Aimo pines over the seemingly international woman, so do Finnish people dream of these vacations to these beautiful foreign lands, only to scratch the surface and try to stick to something as close to Finland as possible, staying at a Finnish hotel, eating Finnish food and only talking to Finnish people. But hey, at least there's sun. Loma is incredibly emblematic of the way Finnish people traveled in the 60s and 70s, but it's not honestly that far from current day either. The days of everyone just buying package trips from travel agencies is mostly behind us, because it's so easy nowadays to just book your own trip through the internet. But Finnish people still most just go on holidays in search of warm weather and cheap alcohol, so not that much has changed. We still drink way too much and make fools of ourselves for the nuisance of everybody else. Loma is a great film, but honestly, its biggest legacy might just be the image of Aimo in Rhodes with his skis. It's one of the most iconic visuals in Finnish film history, but nobody actually knows what happened with the skis. The legend says that they are still in Rhodes, hanging on the wall in some bar, but there's no actual evidence of that. Still, every once in a while there are news articles about how the skis have surfaced somewhere in Rhodes, but nothing has been proven to be the actual skis from the movie. And join me next time as I talk about the classic Swedish film where a man goes to ski and nothing happens.